Well, hello, everybody. We've come to the end of another week. If you have your Bible, go ahead and be opening it to John chapter 9. That's the chapter we're looking at in today's video devotion. I want to remind you that this Sunday, Leanna Crawford is going to be leading worship at 11 o'clock in our contemporary service. So you'll want to be here or tune in online or on YouTube. And she's doing a great job. But anyhow, I just want to let you know that she's going to be on campus leading worship this Sunday. And looking forward to that. But today we're in chapter 9, and I think one of the saddest verses is in this chapter. This is the story of the blind man, a man who'd been blind since birth. And you'll remember Jesus took clay, spit on it, put it in his eye, told the guy to go wash it out in the pool of Siloam. He did that and he got his vision. People were amazed, and they asked him who did this, and he says Jesus. And then he's drug in before the Pharisees, the religious leaders, and they said, who did this? And Jesus. And how did he do it? And he tells them, but they get all mad, and then they call for his parents. Is this your son? Was he really blind? Well, what do you think about Jesus? And they know that they've threatened to kill anybody who confesses Jesus as you know, they're going to be a follower, disciple. So they said, well, he's an adult. You ask him. And they bring him back in, and he just takes a firm stand. Yeah, it was Jesus. And I don't know a lot about him. I just know he's the one that healed me. That's the gist of the story. The verse that is so sad is verse 16. Look at verse 16. Therefore, some of the Pharisees were saying, this man is not from God, referring to Jesus. Why? Because he does not keep the Sabbath. You remember all this week how upset they've been with Jesus because he healed the lame man at the pool of Bethesda on the Sabbath and told him to carry his pallet and go home. They got mad at him. He broke their Sabbath rules. Then here, Jesus heals a blind man, and they get mad at him and say he can't be of God. Even though he's healing people who couldn't walk, healing people who were blind, but he can't be of God because he's breaking our rule. And I know some of us, we look at that and say, what was wrong with them? But in church world, sometimes we're just like that. Our rules, our traditions blind us to what God is doing, to what really matters. They really struggled with that. I think sometimes we do as well. Well, this man became a follower of Jesus, and if you get to the end of the chapter, Jesus said to them, if you were blind, you would have no sin. In other words, if you're blind, he's doing a word play, and he said, if you're blind, you don't think of yourself as being well. Or you do rather. It's those of you who claim to have sight, those of you who think you're smart, who have sight, who think you're smart, you're blind to your own sin. You're blind to your own hardness of heart. Sometimes we think we're really smart, but we have these big old blind spots. I think religious people, if we're not careful, can be blind. We can have these blind spots. And they had this big old blind spot. They could not accept who Jesus was, no matter what he did or what he said, because there are rules. And it created blindness in them, spiritual blindness. Wow. Religious people can be tough. What's the antidote? I mean, we're all praying for a vaccine for COVID-19. I am. I know you are as well. What's the vaccine? What's the antidote for being spiritually blind because our rules are too important, our traditions are too important? Let Jesus touch your heart and life and heal it. Let Jesus fill you with love for these hurting and struggling people. Let Jesus fill you with love for his mission and his purpose above all our traditions. I know I probably sound like a broken record, don't I? But that's what Jesus was dealing with in these middle chapters of John. It'll start changing next week. There's other things. That's what he was dealing with. And I have to say, over the years, one of the things that has made it difficult for churches to love people and reach the community in which we live sometimes has been our traditions have been more important. Our rules, more important. And I think that breaks the heart of God. I hope it breaks your heart. And then you allow God to fill your heart with love and compassion that says what we have to do without being morally wrong, ethically, biblically wrong, we're going to love that person. We're going to reach that person. We're going to care for that person. That's the heart of God. Hope you'll join us next week for these devotions. We'll be in chapter 10. I also hope you'll join us Sunday morning for worship, either in person at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock, or online. Services premiering as early as 7 o'clock, and you can watch them anytime throughout the day or the following week. God bless you. You have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday, and I'll see you next Monday as well.